This week, we've got gerrymandering, just wages, Vatican secret archives, and what is Charles's view on National Security Memorandum 200? Welcome to another episode of Off the Menu. I'm your host, Vincent Franchini from Tumblr House, here with an ineffable Charles Coulombe.
Ineffable?
Ineffable.
It's just so supremely out there, the Empyrean. And I'm just kind of totally floating off into space somewhere.
Beyond words.
Gosh.
Indescribably profound.
Ooh. You mean utterly incomprehensible? beyond anything anybody ever wanted or ever deserved. Oh gosh, what a thought, man. Well, I reflect the times I live in, which is certainly ineffable.
That's not the first adjective that comes to mind, but okay.
Well, they're not effable, that's for sure.
What? Okay.
See, I told you not to be vulgar.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I know what I'm talking about. But no, we are back. 6 long weeks, ladies and gentlemen. You were forced to labor in the coal mines of insanity, while we, labor in our own coal mines of insanity. I'm afraid that Tumblr House underwent all sorts of difficulties, which have been somewhat repaired. It hasn't hurt that the summer crew are now out of their cocoons, although I had to make my way past the disgusting cocoonage to get here this morning. We're here in the old studio, which old Rose just finished cleaning up. But you can't hurry an artist. That's what she told me. I said,
beautiful.
Are we ever going to get this thing done? I said, you can't hurry an artist. Okay. And I walked away. I didn't know what to say to her.
Yeah.
And then she told me to tell you that $1 a day might have been good when she started, but
you're jumping the gun. Charles is getting into the topic of just wage. Okay, we'll get to that. Okay.
But I think you took that the wrong way. I think you thought, oh, it's just wage. Anyway, we are back after 6 weeks. I've had a lot of adventures. I went to a wedding in Greer, South Carolina. And then I went to the Napa Institute. Then I was at Lake Tahoe. Came home, and I was horribly ill in Alberta, Canada. And well, not through the whole thing. I saw some really great stuff in Alberta. And my hosts there were really, I could have asked for better company or better hospitality. But unfortunately, they got ill about 3 days before I did. This is toward the end of the long driving around part. So by the time we got back to Edmonton, they were completely in full blown illness. And I knew I would get it. And sure enough, 3 days later, I got it. And I've only gotten out of it in the past couple of days, 3 days after they did. So it was a good 2-week flu. But in that time, what amazing stuff I saw in Alberta. I saw Vulcan, the Star Trek capital of Canada. I saw Chateau Lake Louise and the Banff
resort.
What? Well, it's a resort, a hotel in Banff, but they're both Canadian Railway hotels.
Mm.
They're just, the Fairmont runs them all now.
Yeah.
But these things they're all works of art, each and every one of them. And the Prince of Wales Hotel down in Waterton Glacier Park. We took the ferry through Waterton across the American frontier to the northernmost ranger station in Washington National Park, and glacier, and thus in the United States. Now, unfortunately, I don't want to mention who it is, but it's T-Mobile, have cut off all of my data outside the United States. So when I want data, I've got to get onto Wi-Fi or I can still make calls, but I don't get data. But wouldn't you know it, we come over the water, we land at that northernmost point in the United States, and boom, I have data.
Nice.
Anyway, you can't escape whatever it is you can't escape. So beyond that, it's been quite a thrill a minute. There's been all sorts of excitement in the wonderful world outside. Much of it not really worth thinking about. This is the last week of August, and you know what that means.
The cocoons? What? I don't know.
Well, the cocoons are down now.
Yeah.
Everyone's running around doing their thing. But unfortunately, none of them have added wings or cartilage or any unnatural thing that you would think they might have. No, beyond that.
August, back to school.
Monday is September 1st.
Labor Day.
It is Labor Day when we celebrate women giving birth. But beyond that, women in labor.
Nah, I thought it's like labor.
Oh,
you know, labor, like wages.
Oh, so I misunderstood.
You can celebrate women if you want.
No, not just any women. Women in the act of giving birth.
In the act of labor, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought Labor Day was about. I don't know. It's anyway. It doesn't matter. The point is, it's a national holiday. Beyond that, it is September. We are entering into autumn, and you know what that means?
What?
The great festive season.
Ooh, let's trigger a bunch of people. Did you get your pumpkin spice latte?
Not yet, and I'm not going to until Monday.
Oh.
They're available.
They're available.
Every time I go to get my iced tea from the Starbucks, I see this big sign, pumpkin is here, but I ain't touching it until Monday. I mean, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Pumpkin spice latte in August? No. Homie, don't play that. I mean, why? Well,
that's great. Whoever got that, that's Homie the Clown reference from In Living Color from the 90s. Yeah, Homie don't play that.
That's
yeah.
right. Homie don't play that.
Beautiful.
I know. I mean, well, you know, why don't you offer, I don't know, fruitcake on the 4th of July? A little bit of eggnog there, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, no.
Okay, fine, Charles.
But September the 1st, I will take it. But I'm going to have to do it late at night before they close because it's too hot in this part of the world. September being often our hottest month. It never feels like autumn here in September. You're lucky by mid-October.
Even then, it's still really scorching.
We've had hot Halloweens.
Yeah.
Not that many, but we have had them. But that brings me to the build-up to the retail holiday season. You know, I always love that. We have the first is the Great Feast of St. Halloween. Then St. Thanksgiving, which generally is only celebrated by supermarkets now because the other stores don't have turkeys to palm off on there. Christmas, which the Christmas stuff generally starts showing up 3 or 4 weeks before Halloween. So you have this period, this weird Nightmare Before Christmas scene, where one aisle is Christmas stuff, the next aisle is Halloween. And you know, you look between the two. But then Christmas will come, I promise. As soon as it's over, as soon as New Year's is over, red hearts for St. Valentine's Day. In a few strange places, you'll have some green shamrocks for the look of the Irish, and then that all gets swept away for Easter lilies and eggs and pastels. And then, when that's gone, it's summer again.
Do you feel empty during the summer because there's not
Yeah.
a thing.
Well, there's the 4th of July. Once they take down the flags from the CVS, I mean, what's the point? But yeah, I do feel summer for me, and it's not just because of the lack of holidays of that nature. Summer for me is something to be endured and lived through, because I don't like the heat.
Mm.
And you know, it when the weather starts to go. I mean, I'm going back to Austria on the 19th, or the 18th, rather, and I've looked at the forecast. It'll already be down to the 70s, because around September the 1st in Austria, as in the east and a lot of other same places, September is part of autumn, and so down go the temperatures pretty swiftly. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to going back to Trumau. I miss my friends very much. I have for the Terek clan special gifts. I won't tell you what they are, but they're very particular. They'd only make sense to your family. Let that be a lesson, young Tereks. Actually, even old Tereks, because there's something for all of you in it. All 11. Think about that. All 11. Which also tells you could have been that expensive.
What could? Oh yeah.
I mean, if every single thing I got them, there are 11 of them. If every single thing I got them was hugely expensive, it would wipe me out.
Yeah.
So if they think I'm bringing back a gold doubloon for each of them, they're wrong. Did I bring back gold doubloon for the Frankinis? There are a lot fewer than there are of you. Did I bring back gold doubloons for you guys?
Oh, that's generally the policy. In one way or another. Yeah, you have to.
Call my brother Andre. No, seriously though, I am looking forward to seeing everybody. I've had so far a good time here. There are a lot of people I have not yet seen. Partly because I've not been in town very long at any given setting, and then I got sick.
Yeah.
Before today, my biggest social thing was a week ago. It was a wedding. I was able to make it through the mass, and I literally spent a half hour at the reception.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
So, for anybody I know who's watching this who's local and they're annoyed because I haven't seen you yet, I will try before I leave, I promise. We got a little over 2.5 weeks, so I'll do everything I can. On the other hand, just bear in mind, too, that Christmas is coming, the geese are getting fat. I hope that I drove through Altadena today, and it's still.
Was that the first time since the fire?
No, I drove through when I first got back in July. I drove up there, and actually, it's amazing how much stuff has been repaired since then.
Yeah,
but I'm afraid it's not going to be what it was. That was a real mess. But anyway, we're here now, and on a lighter, happier note. Let's see, there must be something on a happier, lighter note. There must be. The sun hasn't gone supernova yet. I got into a little bit of a tiff with my neighbors.
Fundraiser's going well for Turkey Lurkey Day. If you hear some talking or something like that, that's just the operators. It's going quite well now.
There's a special appeal for money for Turkey Lurkey Day.
Yeah.
God knows if you'd seen the girls rehearsing, you'd know they need it. I mean, they're doing very well, is what I meant. But I was going to tell you, my next door neighbor, across the street neighbor, they've gotten all paranoid on me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Are you ready for this?
Okay.
They
Yeah.
accused me of going in and rearranging their furniture at night.
They accused you of going in and not stealing, rearranging furniture.
Yeah, coming in and rearranging the living room, the kitchen, the other rooms other than their bedroom. Can you imagine something that insane?
It's pretty insane. Did you do it?
Well, they caught me.
They caught you rearranging the furniture.
Yeah, well, they did. So I don't think they look at me quite the same way. Well, they're volunteers with the Braille Institute.
Oh.
Oh, that was funny.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, what?
You play tricks on the blind? You rearrange the furniture on the
Well,
blind
they're
to
not
mess
that
with
blind.
them.
They can see. How do you think
What?
they caught me? How do
The
you think they
Braille
caught
Institute?
me? How do you think they caught me?
I'm actually rather curious. How did they catch you?
They saw me.
Did they?
Yeah, and all these years they've been pretending to be blind. Who's the real culprit here? Yeah.
These people pretending to be blind?
Yeah. And then they catch me. They've been complaining. They say, "Oh, we're sure you're doing it." Then they set a trap for me.
What monsters?
I'm telling you. Absolute monsters.
My question is, why would you think of even rearranging the furniture?
Well, Rose, they left a bottle of rye whiskey out.
Oh.
That was how they caught me.
Old Rose in the studio as well.
Yes, old Rose, she can't quite finish things up, but she is an artist and she can't be hurried.
That's right.
And we're grateful to her. Watch this. You see this? No dust. Guess why?
Yeah. All right.
Questions. That's what we're here for.
We are here for questions, actually.
All right, let's get them out of the way.
All
Wait a
right.
minute, that's what the show's about.
Yes.
Ah.
All right. First question is from the Jurgensens, longtime fans. James Jurgensen specifically, I think that's the patriarch of the Jurgensen family. He says, I was watching another podcast, and among other things, the Vatican Secret Archive was brought up, and the usual sinister theories were discussed. The church was accused of hiding things, etc. Given all the anti-Catholic and highly dubious conspiracy theories floating around online, I never gave it much thought, but I was wondering what all Sir Charles could say about the Vatican Secret Archives, the various facts and theories surrounding it. Thank you very much, and God bless you both.
Okay, well, firstly, the Vatican Secret Archives, quote unquote, covered various varieties. One thing you've got to bear in mind, that every government, and the Holy See is a government, have things that they keep confidential, diplomatic correspondence and so forth. This is not stuff you would want exposed to the general public, at least not while things are an issue. Which is why every 30 or 40 or 50 years, most archives, including the Vatican, tend to make a ton of stuff publicly available.
Mm-hmm.
But an awful lot of what the Vatican gets is also have to do with moral cases. So let's say that a priest violated the seal of the confessional for a convent that he was confessor to, was chaplain to. Would you really want the details of something like that all over the place? I wouldn't think so.
Wow. Yeah.
More than that, and I hate to bring up reality to anybody, but take any family you like. Would you really like, considering all of the difficulties, problems, scandals, embarrassments, etc., that every family goes through, would you like all of your correspondence made public? Yeah, well, I mean, not the Frankinis, of course. As crime families go, they're really straight up. But I mean, sorry, that slipped out. I didn't mean it the way it sounded.
Yeah, you're being hyperbolic.
Yeah, that what he said, that word, hyperbolic.
Yeah.
But seriously, you don't want a lot of stuff to come out. You just don't. And one of my favorite lines is, well, if you're not guilty, you have nothing to fear. Yeah, you do. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, is completely innocent of every misdeed. How would you like all your parking tickets made public?
Mm.
How would you, there's a reason why the courts suppress all kinds of things.
Yeah.
That's because, for one thing, they're in a position to understand circumstances in a way the general public and the media are often not.
Right.
So, if the particular circumstances of a given thing are kind of unsavory, that may not necessarily reflect on the person who's the perp.
Yeah.
You come into a situation that's really awful, and let's say other people are the result or the reason for it. Why should you get hung with the blame?
Right.
So there are a lot of reasons why all kinds of archives have secret sections. And given that the church, more than most, deals with questions of conscience and so on and so forth, all the more. But I mean, there are things that have come out as the years have gone by, and again, in common with so many other archives. The Vatican, after a while, they release things, but there are things like signed in the archives of the Holy Office, signed contracts with the devil from the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, that were taken from court cases.
Oh, wow.
Those are pretty. And then there's a lot of other stuff. I mean, certainly there's all sorts of things about miracles. I asked the question in my Grail book, why doesn't the whole world shriek about the Eucharistic miracles to the sky? That's not secret. But it doesn't fit the little baby narrative. And the little baby narrative mustn't ever be disturbed.
Are the secret archives digital, or are they physical?
Well, the Vatican archives are primarily physical, but a lot of them are consultable online.
Oh, okay. Because I was just wondering if you could get hacked or something.
That'd be hard.
That'd
but
be hard? Okay.
Yeah, that would be kind of hard to do.
Okay. Why would you say that?
Because most of them are not digital.
Okay.
What you'll find online is primarily catalogs and things like that to tell you what is where, but most of what's in there is not online. But it is pretty freely accessible if you go there as a scholar.
I see. Okay, well, I like that system. I'm glad it's not digital. I was really worried it's digital, because I feel like if it's digital, someone's going to get at it.
Oh, no. Only marital records.
Okay, Von Day Radio has a question. He says, Dear Vinny, as an upstanding Catholic publishing tycoon, what are your thoughts on the contemporary application of the Church's teachings on the just wage and just price? Yeah, okay, yeah, so...
Oh, it's just wage. What are you just crossing that out? What are you
You're going to have to go talk with HR about some of our policies, some of our guidelines.
Is that what they're calling them now? I'll tell you what, most of the employees around here talk about them as threats.
That's sad. That's really sad that some of the rules are misunderstood.
Misunderstood? Failure to appear exactly on time twice in a row will be met with termination.
Look
No,
there's so much
required.
Opportunity. It makes me sad because there's so much opportunity for enterprising individuals at Tumblr House, and I just wish people would recognize that opportunity. I mean,
all right. Well, let me ask you a question then. Why is it the HMO for the employees here? Why is it the primary caregiver, I guess, for the HMO that you've got is an aromatherapist?
Well, that's.
Now, don't you think that's a little cheap?
Well, we focus on proactive measures rather than reactive measures. Our job is to take care of people so well that they don't get sick. So you don't need health care.
Oh, well, that's great.
There's all sorts of things. I mean, there's all sorts of wonderful information about vitamins, omega-3s. Do you even know what that is? Omega-3?
Yeah, and also, what is it? Relativizing the ions or whatever. The ionic, that thing, the buzzing thing in the distance. It's supposed to regulate ions in the air. That you said that was a great boost to health.
Okay, now...
And then you deducted from everybody to put the stupid thing in.
I said a boost to mental health.
Oh, well.
You're misquoting me.
Yeah, I see. Who can measure mental health? No, we all know, ladies and gentlemen, that Catholic social teaching is basically a club to hit Protestants with. It's got nothing to do with us. And you know how we know?
How?
Work for the church.
Ain't that the truth?
So you see, I shouldn't say this because it was said, well, I can't really say it was in confidence. It was in the middle of the 13th fact-finding tour to St. John's in the Bahamas. But anyway, you said, and I quote, yeah, well, if the social teaching is so great, why doesn't the church use it on its employees, huh? Now, I thought that was a problematic remark. One, I thought you were giving a bad example to those of us like myself who were very impressionable. Secondly, why would you demand more out of the hierarchy than out of the laity?
Well, that's true.
Yeah, see, got you there, smart guy.
Mm.
And thirdly, if, as so many people have written, trying to follow the Church's social teaching is a part of how a well-to-do Catholic saves his soul, if that's true, then why isn't it more clearly and more often taught by the hierarchy?
Say that last part one last time?
If, for the wealthy Catholic, attempting to pursue the Church's social teaching in his work is connected to his salvation,
yeah,
then why don't the hierarchy place more emphasis on the Church's social teaching?
That's a good question because they would get more money. I don't know.
Well, possibly because they're not interested. I mean, remember, there are two things you hear today a lot from the hierarchy. One, some of them, not all of them, is what they call containment theology, which is the idea that anything like, the traditional Mass that grows numbers and so on, has to be contained.
Yeah.
And the second, so if it succeeds, it's a failure.
Yeah.
The second is the phrase managed decline.
They use that term?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I would say that if you believe in the Church as the means of salvation, then those are two phrases that should never cross your lips. But of course, if you do believe that, then, and only then, does the Church's social teaching make sense.
So why is social teaching only relevant if you believe that?
Well, because what is the end of the Church's social teaching? It's the end of her dogmatic teaching. It's the salvation of souls.
But I mean, like, even atheists sort of propose sort of equality and fairness and stuff like that. Like, do you have to be religious?
For them, well, yes, because for them, those are ends in themselves. And they become little idols. And they sacrifice everything for them. Hence you get communism and God knows what. But for the believer, they're a means to an end.
Yeah.
His salvation and the salvation of his employees. And that's why we have social teaching. It's Leo XIII was very, very clear that the whole basis of worrying about this stuff is ultimately supernatural, so that the workers and the owners save their souls. I mean, really, that's why we have social teaching.
Yeah.
But if you take out the salvation piece, then you've just got a lot of empty verbiage to play with. Which I'm all for, as you know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna kind of play devil's advocate because my mind is not settled on this yet. But in terms of like, okay, let's talk about Catholic schools specifically, right? Because teachers work to the absolute bone. I can personally testify. My mom worked for all boys high school, and you know, even when you're done working, you're not done working because you're grading papers, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I think I think you can't put the blame on the hierarchy. Well, maybe it's a little bit more complicated. But basically,
more complicated.
What I'm trying to get at is it's hard to pay employees fair wages when the value of the output, when it's not valued, right?
That's very difficult.
People won't pay anything, so it's like, well, how you
end up with several different problems. You have taking Catholic schools. You have teachers who should have a living wage.
Yeah.
All right. You've got parents who should want their children to be there for the sake of their souls.
Yes.
You have administrators, and ultimately behind them the bishop, who should be wanting the salvation of the students' souls, and their parents, and the salvation of the teachers' souls.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, how do you deal with that concretely? And to be honest, it's a problem every private school has. The public schools don't have them because they can extract every dime they want out of you, and you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I think would go a long way toward helping this, and people get upset when you talk about it, but it's the school vouchers. And whenever you bring that up, people say, well, it would be the death of public education. My response is, so what? I think that public education, as it's grown in the United States, has become a fiasco. When children aren't taught anything except crap, and they're not taught basic skills, they're not taught anything useful, why should they be wasting their lives in school? If their parents aren't sufficiently interested in their children having a proper education, then why should it matter? Contrariwise, let's say that in lieu of paying your tax to the government that goes to the schools, that went into vouchers for the school of your choice. It would definitely empower parents who were interested but didn't have the money necessarily. It would force any public school who wanted to stay in business to actually become competitive, i.e. teach something. I can't think of anything but benefits to it. But rare indeed is the bishop who will back it because they don't want to go against the state. So.
Okay. Yeah, in terms of just outside other aspects of just wages, I could talk about that for like an hour, Vonde, but I'll just say that it's incredibly complicated because of disparities. I mean, you take the cost of living of people in California compared to the cost of living of someone in flyover country, and then compare that to the cost of living of someone in India.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Well, this is also a question because just wages and just prices do vary from place to place. What's a just wage here in LA would be more expensive than a just wage in Kansas City.
Right.
And a just wage in Kansas City is a lot more than a just wage in Calcutta.
Exactly.
Obviously, what we all would like is a telecommuting job where we got paid like LA,
Yeah.
but had the expenses of Calcutta.
Well, that's what I was wondering if that was going to happen more prominently with the burgeoning remote work.
That well, it very well might, because the other thing too is, like, let's say we've got a place like LA. If I could telecommute and get the same amount and move out to Bourgeois Flat,
Yeah.
I'll move there. But then the problem is, I want a Bourgeois Flat what I have here.
Yeah.
So I'll start terraforming it.
Hmm.
But then the prices there will go up.
Yeah. Yeah. So. All right. Where are we? Oh, Tim has a question on gerrymandering. He says, with all the talk of gerrymandering going on, what solutions would Charles have to solve this reoccurring political problem, other than abolishing the whole thing and establishing a monarchy, of course?
Well, even with a monarchy, you would still have the problem that there'd be municipalities, there would be constituencies, and how do you determine their borders? It's always been hard, always. The best you could do to avoid it is to try to make it nonpartisan. Now, how do you do that? Well, that is hard.
Isn't it? I always feel like gerrymandering, by definition, is partisan.
Of course it is. So how do you get a nonpartisan setup to determine constituency boundaries based on interest? I mean, like, for instance, you can see with the San Gabriel Valley, geographically speaking, there's a lot of mutual interests.
Yeah.
But politically, it's very varied.
Yes.
So it would be very difficult to put the San Gabriel Valley together in such a way that it would be a safe seat for anybody.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. It would always be.
Yeah.
And of course, in gerrymandering, you're trying to create as many safe seats for your side as you can.
Yeah.
So it'd be hard. It'd be very hard.
Yeah.
But if you could somehow put together a nonpartisan group of intelligent people to try to create these things on the basis of their mutual interest. The San Gabriel Valley has a lot of mutual interests.
Well, the mutual interest. So you'd create districts on the basis of mutual interest.
Yeah, and of how well outside politics they're connected.
Hmm.
I mean, in the case, again, I take the San Gabriel Valley. This area is very much tied to itself.
Yeah.
Pasadena, in some ways, is very different from San Dimas.
Yeah.
But they have a lot in common. Politically, they might be very different.
Yeah.
But their needs and their aspirations and so forth tend to be very similar. So the nonpartisan board would say, here's the district that is the San Gabriel Valley. When election time comes, have at it, kids. There's no safe seats. Good luck. And then, of course, that would force both parties to really try to sell their program to an audience that might not be willing to buy it.
Okay. Malabranche Davidian says, what was the lowest age at which a criminal offender could be eligible for the death penalty in the Papal States? How about in other Catholic countries that, as far as we know, were in compliance with church discipline and doctrine about the death penalty and the treatment of children by the state? What, if any, explicit guidance on this topic was published by the Holy See, a la the minimum ages for contracting marriage under canon law?
I don't know. To be honest, I couldn't tell you what the minimum age for the death penalty was. I believe 16 is the minimal age for marriage in canon law, but I could be wrong. But the minimal age for execution, it's a good question. It's what we're looking into. You know what, gang? We're going to cheat. Let's see what we got. Minimal age for execution, Papal States.
You skip the AI overview. You don't trust it.
No, I never look at the AI.
Well, that's citing sources, you know.
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't look at the AI.
You look at the Wikipedia.
Yeah. Don't know.
And you won't even glance at the AI overview.
No, I'm not going to glance at the AI overview.
Why? It's citing sources, Charles. It's not making it up.
It's possessed.
All right.
Demons. Demons run AI.
Demons run your cell phone.
No, just AI.
Oh, just AI. Okay. All right. Lucifer's element of choice is electricity. It's the counter to water baptism. I bet you didn't know that. I bet you didn't know Lucifer's element of choice was electricity. And through that false light, he will illumine the world. That false light. You never thought about that. You never thought about that, did you? Oh, we don't want to talk about that.
No, I don't.
I'll go all the way on that on this one. If you want to say that, let's go all the way.
I don't trust it. Okay. I don't trust anything that pretends to be alive and isn't. I mean, ever since I asked Google what she thought of Siri, and she said she's hot.
Okay. All right. Question from Vonday Radio. Final question for the episode. He says, what is your view on National Security Memorandum 200, also known as the Kissinger Report?
That came out under President Nixon in 1973. Basically, its notion was to commit the United States to population control, to destroying the birth rate in the third world. No Catholic should ever have had to pay for it. And we're reaping the whirlwind now with the population implosion. And nobody will pick up on it. They'll admit elements of it. We don't have enough people working in industry. Oh, we can't support the pensions. Whoa, the markets the consumer markets aren't growing fast enough. Gee, why is that? I don't get it. Gee, you slaughter thousands of unborn people, and then they're not there to eat, work, and pay taxes. Ooh, who could have seen that coming? But not being Dr. Kissinger, not being Mr. Nixon, I'm not a mentat, the big bubble head, like one of the future creatures in the Twilight Zone. I'm just living in the future they created. I don't think much of it. I think it's insane that any Catholic should have had to pay money to a regime like that.
Okay. Well, I don't really. We have a lot more time. Let's talk about some current events. Death penalty in D.C. What's going on?
Sure,
there?
You bet.
What's going on there?
Dead people.
They're killing people now?
No, not yet.
They're going to be?
We plan to. Well, I mean, the thing is, look, there's a huge amount of murder and crime in D.C. If every now and then 1 or 2 or 3 murderers go bye-bye, it may help to get the attention of the remainder.
Okay. How's the Pope doing?
How
How is the Pope doing?
He's fine. I mean, he's my cousin, my 12th cousin. I'm very proud of that.
You don't have a job at the Vatican yet. I don't get it.
Should I tell him? No. No, I don't. In fact, neither does Madonna, which I think it was, if he gave one of us a job, I'd have to give the other. But no, seriously, no, I think he's been doing a quiet roll away into the job sort of thing.
So what has been really what in the world has really been occupying your mental space?
Other than being sick and traveling in Canada?
You're always singing this stuff, Charles. I don't buy that, and you have a lot. You're weighing in on.
Um, a lot of things, actually.
Yeah.
But larger, you might say larger issues. In other words, the relationship of the old to the young, the necessity of trying to give the young the best weaponry you can for them to fight the great fight in our time, and more importantly, after my time.
Other than obviously your Catholic faith, what is the greatest weapon?
Oh gosh, where does it ever end? It's in morals, it's in literature, it's in the arts, it's in
Formality, formal dress.
well, yes, all that. I mean, I said, I think last time, last time I meant to say in the pre-show that there were four things that my generation had given the youngsters that I'm annoyed about, and they were insecurity, ignorance, irreligion, and vulgarity. Helping the young people overcome that horrible legacy we've given them is something important, I think, given the last periods I've got left. No, I'm not snuffing out any time immediately, ladies and gentlemen, but you get to reach a certain age, you're very much aware of the fact that you're not going to be around forever. So I would definitely say that carrying the fight on to the next generation is a big part of what's in my head now.
Bishop,
and that fight includes things like appearance and so on.
Bishop Barron said something really interesting. Maybe I could get your comment on, where I think he was complaining about some of the evils of the world, and he one of the things he listed was the notion or concept of self-invention.
Yeah.
And by that, a culture where individuals believe they create their own identities, values without external authority.
Which is madness. I mean, the truth is, look, everything I have, I inherited.
Yeah.
I don't mean money. But my values, my understandings, my knowledge, all of it came to me from the past. From my dad, from various mentors, from the church. They all helped create this mental space.
Yeah.
And this mental space has so far seated me pretty well against most challenges I've had to face. Now, obviously, the next generations are going to have to face their own challenges, which probably I won't be around for most of.
Yeah.
But you want to leave as many weapons as you can. I really can't imagine living any other way than with that understanding. So you ask what's in my mind? Well, that's in my mind. At the moment, as you know, I'm in Europe, staying at a school with a ton of brilliant kids, speaking around Europe in different groups. If I had the same opportunities in America, I'd probably be doing that here. I don't, so I don't. But either way, for me, for right now, that's where I need to be. That's what I need to be doing. And it's those kinds of questions that keep me on my toes. Even our show has always been a way of reaching young people.
Yeah.
I don't think we really began it that way, but it soon became obvious who our core listeners were.
Yeah.
And that in turn gives a certain responsibility. And it's one that, because it was sort of foreshadowed by the role I've always played in everyday life, I slipped into it. But, time moves on. Time marches on.
Yeah, it tripped me out to hear from some of the fans where, they use that term. I grow up watching you, and it was like from the age of 16 to I guess 28, or no, 16 to 24.
25, 26.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been at this almost 10 years, and a lot in that time, a lot has changed. Some of it for the better, a lot of it for the worse.
Yeah.
But the truth hasn't changed, and our attempts to get it to our listeners hasn't changed. Our attempts to do so while maintaining an even keel and a bit of humor have certainly, if anything, intensified. But the biggest thing is that when you and I are no longer here, that there be young people in this spot. Well, maybe not this spot, but
well,
doing what we're doing, or the equivalent in where they find themselves.
Well, we're looking at the world, and the world is going along on its path, and you could argue it's worse, regardless of what's happened. What I'd like to think of is that our audience in general is better off. And why is it better off? Because of the lessons that come with age. When you're honest with yourself, when you're observant, when you're reflective, when you're reflecting on your life and thinking, maybe I shouldn't do this stupid stuff anymore, and I can tell you that I love being middle-aged. I love being in my 40s now. I'm so relieved to get past, which is, in my humble opinion, the hardest part of life, which is the young part. I mean, just looking back on it, yeah, I know, it's so sad. But I feel like everybody watching, obviously assuming that you grow older rather than grow younger, that you're a happier person than 10 years ago because you've learned more things, you've seen more things.
Yes.
Your faith has grown. You're in a better spot now, I think.
Well, we hope so. And
yeah.
For those of you who have just joined us in the past year or two, especially for you younger folks, thank you. As I'm at pains to indicate, I'm all too aware of the debt that we older folk owe the younger folk in terms of what we did not pass on. Well, that means to a great degree you're going to have to be self-formed. And that's hard to ask out of anybody. I mean, that's not by handing you a hammer on nails. I'd say, now go be a carpenter. Well, what? What are you talking about? Well, see, I need a carpenter. So here you go. You go do it. But and by the way, you won't be paid unless it's done to my liking. No, go do your work. Well, in a certain sense, that's what we're asking you to do, we being my generation, those who follow us. And a lot of you, I think quite rightly, think, no. Unfortunately, well, that's the right answer. That's only as far as that goes. How to describe to you the joys of carpentry, or plumbing, or animal husbandry, or whatever you might do. How to get the positive across to you. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, we've got to accentuate the positive. We've got to eliminate the negative. We've got to latch out of the affirmative and not mess with mystery in between.
Wow. That is mind-blowing because that is such an old song. But to me, Gen Z is that in spades. Which is weird. Wow, that's mind-blowing. Because that's what I was going to say in terms of characterizing Gen Z in some of the things. I think one of the characteristics of Gen Z that they really like, there are several characteristics, and one of them is they really like positivity. They don't they don't do the negative stuff anymore, you know? And I think they're really repulsed by that, especially. And I think the other thing that that Gen Z really likes, because of the pervasiveness of advertising and just people selling things constantly, is I think Gen Z people really like authenticity. You hear that so much now, but it's actually also true, where it's like when you're someone who is just confident and they don't have anything to sell, you know, there's nothing that you're selling really, and you're just living your best life.
But see, notice something interesting about that. My generation, at least the senior half of it, used the term authenticity in a very different way.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've got to be authentic to who I am, which means I shouldn't be hemmed in by etiquette and good manners. I should be able to talk like a deckhand in public.
Wow.
I've got to be authentic to me. Oh, it's so important.
Okay.
Well, you'll hear the same thing today, but it's almost the opposite thing.
Wow. That's so interesting.
Oh.
Hmm.
I gotta be me. Oh, no, don't, please.
Okay. Any final thoughts for this episode, Charles?
Well, yes, I do. I do indeed. Indeed, I do. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry we've been gone for so long. We won't be gone quite so long this coming time. But it has been a tremendous honor these past 9 years. And whatever the future holds for the show and for us, know that the being here, and I can almost say, certainly during COVID, being here for you, is one of the greatest joys of my life, and I think Vinny would say the same.
Hugely, yes.
I remember when things were just so crazy, and we get a lot of notes from people saying, "Thank you so much." It really was splendid. If you learned anything from us, if you learned anything from this show, it's been useful. Not only are we grateful, but we hope that you will pass that on yourself in whatever manner or way the technology or whatever the future allow you. My father could not imagine the world that he was trying to equip my brother and me for. I cannot imagine the world that, well, Vinny and I and our Bill Birsack and various of our collaborators have tried to create for you. I'm sorry, my mind's going.
You can't imagine the world that they're going to live in.
Let's try again. I can't imagine the world that you're going to be in. I hope it's better. I hope the good and the evil are clearer. I hope the good is easier to discern and to stick by. But I have no idea. And I have no idea what the technology will be. But know this, that, you know, when we're both shuffled off to our respective rewards, presuming we're in a position to do you any good, I mean, if you're in hell, you just can't really just stop that. But in purgatory and in heaven both, you can still help those on earth. And that I can promise you we'll do our best to do if we are so fortunate as to make our way to either of those places.
Yep.
But I have a question for you.
What?
Well, what is it if it's off the Monday?
It's off the menu. And what about the soul you save?
Do you have to put down a deposit for it? It may be your own.
See you next time, everyone.